Listeners, what's up? We back, and so is football. Good times. Nick, it's here, man. We've been waiting for so long. The
Man,
wait's over.
we ain't working at Home Depot. We're still talking about football. Everything's all good, man.
It's good, man. Welcome to Saints Talk, the official podcast of NewOrleans.Football. I'm here with Nick Underhill. I'm your host, Kevin Washington. Guys, make sure you follow Nick on Twitter, handle at Nick_Underhill. Follow NewOrleans.Football, NOTDOT football on Twitter. Most important thing, go to NewOrleans.Football /subscribe. The link will be in the show notes. Pick a tier, get the practice report, stay updated on everything that's going on with the Saints. Support, come be a part of the community. We ready. So, man, football's back. It just feels good saying it, man. You could hear it in my voice. Nick is smiling. It's maybe fake, but it's all good. We're gonna make it happen. He give me like these weird smiles sometimes. Man, it just feels good. It feels good. Did your off-season training 5 miles a day?
Yeah, we didn't need it. We didn't need it. Practice was only 90 minutes long. It was cool out kind of the first day. So it isn't even long enough to really be like arduous or whatever. So yeah, it's 90 minutes of practice. Then they can go up. So tomorrow they'll be, well, when they're listening to this, it'll be today. So
right,
there'll be 105 minutes and then 120. So like they go up 15 minutes every day. But yeah, I mean, it was short, man. It was good to be out there, but like, it was 5 passes each a team, and then it was kind of over. But I mean, look, there was some positional stuff. There was stuff to evaluate. Just seeing it was great. I left a job and started a business to come here to write these practice reports. So to be able to actually do that finally, was it was a nice payoff. So yeah, man, it was just great to be back out there. It's kind of weird that it was like you wait all this time as to build up. You go to one, and then they got a day off the next day. But hey, man,
that was a bad time, man. That was crazy time.
It's every day until Tuesday now, so we got the.
We good.
Yeah, that was the walkthrough. So
look, man. So regardless of how short the practice was, we're about to overreact to everything. We know who the future quarterback is. We gotta, we know what the O-line look like. We know what the starters look like. We know who sucks. It's all set in motion, man. So let's do it, man. All right. So topic number one. Is it Tamus? Is that?
Yeah, we're not doing that here. It's Jameis.
It's lame,
we are not doing that. We are not a Tamus zone. That's for out there. Everybody else can do it. We are not Tamus.
Hey, look, I wrote
this is not a celebrity couple. We are not. No. We are not a Tamus show.
Hey, man, look, I'm with you. I wrote in the show notes, and I was hoping you was gonna see it because I knew I was gonna get a little heat from it. But
yeah, we ain't doing it.
I'm with you. What's up, Jameis? You put out a article before anyone saw practice. I guess you got a little note from a bird, flew through your front window, dropped some little practice notes off to you, gave you some, gave you a little info, whatever. Jameis, he's launching 70-yarders apparently, before you guys got to see him, and he seems like he made some nice throws, in the padded practice that you guys saw. So, well, just first impressions, not just even, past the passes, like his energy, how does he look out there, man? Does he fit in?
Yeah, first of all, the thing that stood out to me first was kind of his personality, and it comes through on the field. And I do think that matters. I think I've said it before, and I think it's a fair thing to note that if you don't know anything about Jameis Winston, maybe a couple things. Like, it's impossible not to know everything about it. You know what I mean? Like, there are things that Jameis has been involved in that you're going to be aware of, allegations, off-field stuff, and you're going to think, when you go to talk to him for the first time, he's not someone that you're probably neutral on. You probably have thoughts one way or another, and he makes you like him. And just seeing his presence and being, just seeing him from the sideline on the field, just how big his personality is, the energy he has, that makes his teammates react to him and they like him. And then the other thing with him is just around the campus, he takes the time to know everybody. Like,
I see.
In the coronavirus trailer, like, he knows everybody's name in there, and he knows something about him. He's talking to him. He's a genuinely warm person. And that stuff has helped him kind of come in and get the team to like him right away. And look, he's a third quarterback on the depth chart or whatever, second. he's not in like a leadership role, but like as a quarterback, I think one of your default traits has to be leadership for you to have any shot at anything. So, I think step one is that. Step two, I mean, the arm is, yes.
It's live, man.
Like, someone pointed this out. Like, I love the people that read my stuff because like my DMs and my emails are just absolutely insane. And I got a frame by frame breakdown from somebody of Jameis and Taysom throwing and how quickly Jameis gets the ball out compared to Taysom. And then, I go and watch it, and I'm breaking it down myself to make sure the integrity of these screenshots are true. And it's there, man. Like they start their wind up at the same time and the ball's out, on Jameis before, Taysom's there. And like, that's just the mechanics. And,
you sent me a text like you was like, yo, look at this. You're going to have to use the slider to see exactly what I think Taysom actually probably like started before him, which is like a little crazy.
Yeah. I mean, look, it got me fired up, but like
whole article on the way.
The mechanics are really good though. And like you watch them, they're doing the routes on air before practice and, the ball's just coming out much differently on Jameis. Mm-hmm. And look, that's why he was the number one pick. Right. Everybody saw the throw on the corner route to Traquan was one of the clips that everybody sent out there, and that throw was, look, man, I've been going to this camp for a while. That's one of the best throws I've seen in camp in a long time, and that's not a knock on Breeze. It's just
Jameis bag.
Yeah, Jameis has the arm to do that. So
yeah,
it isn't going to be the physical; it's going to be the mental stuff and how that builds day by day and stack by stack. The physical stuff right away, it's off the charts, man. It was impressive.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's funny when I'm not there, but when I read about just what people are saying about him and just little things I hear about him. I mean, you hear stuff, you hear how some of the guys, reporters have been, guys that beat writers have been asking about him in the interviews and whatnot, and it just feels like he is already acting like a job is his. Like and I don't have any inside information on that, but that's just the vibe I get. The vibe is like, he's in his mind, like he's the future quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. And so that we'll see. I mean, from the start, I've always thought that if in a fair competition between the two, I just think that he would win that job. And, look, we'll see. It's way too early to predict how it's going to come. But, this guy threw for 5,200 yards last year, right? That's no stop. So, I mean, you just need to dial them back a little bit. And I prefer my quarterbacks to be a little bit too aggressive than not aggressive enough, because I think you can coach out a little bit of aggression, but you can't coach it in. So, yeah, this is one of the most – and it's crazy because we're not even talking about a starter, but this is one of the most exciting camp battles that I can remember. In fact, I can't think of a camp battle that would be more exciting than the one for backup quarterback. And it sucks that, man, we didn't get preseason this year, because it would have been preseason games this year. It would have been crazy. But, that's the vibe I'm getting. Go ahead.
I don't want to put the cart before the horse here, though, like at all, because, look, I mean, if he can't protect the ball and he's making mistakes, he's not going to be the quarterback. And Sean can win games. He can scheme around a quarterback who isn't quite as good, as talented. He can't scheme around and score points if he doesn't have the ball. And
Yep.
If Jameis doesn't fix the mental stuff, it's not going to matter. Like, the physical traits aren't in question at all. The interception he threw in practice, I would not really, it wasn't like what's he doing? Like, the pass was a little high. Mm-hmm. So there's a knock on him. Juwan Johnson got his hands on it. Probably got to catch that ball. Like, it wasn't a super errant throw or anything like that. So
yeah.
Interception one, I'm not really holding against him. I didn't see anything that was, look, the bad throws that I saw in practice were really Taysom throws. I mean, in the one-on-ones, he threw a pass way like under Mike, and Marshawn got an easy interception.
I see.
And there were a couple other bad throws. So, I mean, I think day one, it's put one up for Winston. He ate a W, and
How long you been waiting to use that?
It just came in the moment.
It just came in the moment. You're not that good, bro. No, I know you.
I swear it just came to me, man. I'm a writer. I work with words.
Hey, man, look, you should have said that for the article, man. That was a cold piece.
Oh, man. It was definitely. I'm excited though. I'm excited that, like, even just going out there, like, we've been talking about these guys, and
yeah, man,
we're the podcast of backup quarterback excitement, but like then just seeing them and it's like,
yeah,
wow, like they really got these 3 dudes and like they're all wildly interesting.
Yeah, man.
Like
They
this,
all got like something going on with each one of them, right? It's like Drew, he's working on getting his arm stronger. He's 41. What's the decline? How many years does he have left? Taysom, Jameis, we know the battle going back between them two. Can Jameis dial it back? Can Taysom be a real quarterback? Is he a gadget player? It's, man, yeah, you can't draw it up any better than this. And I will say, Jameis seems like a guy that, in kind of practice scripted situations that he's just going to look good, right? Like you put him on the pro day and he's going to look good. And Taysom, he's definitely someone who, the more you scheme him into the game plan, right, the more physical contact and more hitting involved, it seems like that's when he is probably at his best. So maybe the practice environment, it suits Jameis a little bit better. And, it's not, thinking about it, it's something I need to keep in mind, right? They're trying to evaluate Taysom as a quarterback from the pocket, throw the ball. They're not out there trying to, zone read the Saints defense or anything right now. So I do keep that at the front of my mind. But at the end of the day, man, you're a quarterback. Your job is to deliver passes. And, I think that's going to probably be something that's going to kind of dictate this battle a little bit. So.
That's probably like one of the best points that's ever been made on this podcast. Honestly, like it really is. Like we're going to get so caught up in everything they do, and there's just stuff about Taysom that you can't simulate. Like it just has to happen. Like a play has to fall apart, and then what's he going to do? And that's where his specialness comes in. So yeah. Unless he's playing behind like Cincinnati's offensive. Well, look, Pete's out, and the offensive line might be really bad, so we might see a lot of off script stuff.
Good point.
Day one of the offensive line was it wasn't good. I mean, look, Breeze was under pressure / sacked on like 3 of his 6 plays. Taysom
it was from the edge pressure. Inside. I mean, what?
Cam had 2. Cam had 1. Cam had a shared one with Onyemata, and then the last one I think was Zach Bond.
It was Bond.
Yeah, and then I can't remember. There was another one on another line. I can't remember. It might have been Onyemata again. I think he might have had 2 as well. So
I knew Cam was 2 and Bond was 1, and I think I know about the shared one. I don't remember the 4th one.
So I mean, the way it went too is that Drew went against the first team, Jameis went against the second team, then Taysom took 2 or 3 snaps against the second team, and then the first team defense came back in.
Okay.
So that. Again, like if that's how it goes, like it'll be important to keep note of who's throwing against who, because
context.
There might be a degree of difficulty for Taysom that doesn't exist for Jameis and some of this. So
Mike Thomas is on the field. That's a big difference, right? If you're throwing it to him every time.
Mike couldn't even get the ball just because of the way. Like it was a horrible offensive prep. But again, it was only 5 passes for Breeze. Offensive.
But I mean, but to your point, I mean, and not to backtrack into the backup quarterback battle, but at the end, I do think, like you said, that pass that he underthrew to Mike, those kind of plays, no matter what you can do off script, if you can't deliver those type of passes, then you're just not going to play quarterback in this league. So. Look, I mean, everyone has we have bad days and stuff that we're good at, so we're not making any judgments here. But that is something that
one practice,
right, exactly. So we're just setting the tone for the next, couple of weeks, few weeks, and what we're expecting to see. But we're going to analyze every single. We're going to probably talk about this every day. Definitely not for 20 minutes or whatever, but it's the biggest thing going on the team. I mean, literally, there's no bigger story, and we're going to cover it as such because. Man, it's exciting. And so the D line. Were you able to get? And I know the answer is no, and this is kind of me saying, hey, let's keep an eye on this because hey, we might end up recording more pods like as needed because football is here, man. But just the health of the D line is something to me that is kind of. And you've spoken about it, but I think it's kind of one of those underrated things that's going on right now because Cam had surgery, Rankins had surgery, and Davenport had surgery. And so, just the health of those guys is something that I think that's, it's going to be one of those storylines that's important because the talent is there. what does Rankins look like, right? I mean, him and Cam were together, and him and Davenport and Davenport, Cam, and Rankins worked together this offseason. So, like, what does that look like, right? So just keeping an eye on the health of those guys is going to be important. And like I said, it's one practice, but them getting pressure early is, that bodes well for a D-line that was, pretty injured, at the end of the year last year.
Davenport looked good. You can see on the edge how someone's moving a little bit better. He looked good to me. He looked like he had some burst and juice to him and everything. Cam looked great. Rankins, it's a little bit more cluttered in the middle, but like he was drilling some technique stuff on the sideline, and I seen him bust a couple spin moves, and they were, it wasn't like he was dragging a leg or anything like that. Like I don't know if he's all the way back to it. That's hard to tell in that environment, but like he's moving and looks nimble, which
that's important.
Yeah, I mean it's something. So we'll see how it keeps going, but the first look at him was all right. He's moving all right. Like it's not of concern or anything like that. Anyamata looked great to me though, man. He looked really good in that practice. He did.
Wow, that he's. I mean, they see something in him. They paid him as such, and
Cam said he's underpaid, which was like
he did say that. I heard him say that, which
that's a mean thing to say after a guy just signed a contract.
Yeah, I was just like, I mean, I know he's trying to be nice, but it's like, bro, like chill, like give me a little bit then. Past that.
So, you messed up, right? Like
right, yeah, like run that, bro. Like, come on, don't say that, Cam. Yeah. No, I feel you. When I heard that, I was like, okay. But
you're underpaid, but Cam's underpaid by choice. Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, Cam is wildly overpaid.
Underpaid.
There's an article on the site about that, by the way, guys. So go to NewOrleans.Football, scroll down. It's down there somewhere.
You don't get enough credit for being team friendly. Like nobody really talks about it enough. Like it's something that should be talked about like constantly.
That's fair because with Drew is always spoken about, but yeah, Cam it's rare for guys to do that though.
Yeah, players
you don't see that. Yeah, you don't see that. And this is his third contract that he's on, this extension that he signed. Yeah, so
he's been underpaid his whole entire career, like seriously,
whole career. I mean, I remember saying it on like some pods specifically, like if I'm Cam Jordan, I'm holding out. Like for real, like I'm not gonna put up Von Miller, JJ Watt numbers, and you're gonna pay me like the 20th best defensive end in the NFL. So
I think he's like ninth, but still, yeah.
Yeah, I mean back then, like at the time, and so, but yeah, it's crazy, and he just took a new contract underpaid. But he's very clear, man. He wants to retire Saint.
Yeah,
I mean
he's really about it. Yeah, no, he's really about what he's talking about. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, some people say it, but this dude, he's out there after it. I mean, he came in the league with 2011, and I mean he's still after it. I mean, I feel like he's still getting better, if that's even possible, at this point in his career. But shout out to Cam Jordan, man. And I think him wanting to retire here, this is an aside, but, it kind of speaks a lot to what they built a little bit. Because, when you hear Nigel Bradham say, like, this team, he talked about the Saints and how they operate in their Super Bowl aspirations. And I'm like, man, the Eagles just won the Super Bowl, and I think he was on that team. So what is it about this team and how they're running things that's so unique to where, like, people like want to be here and they're flocking here? And it's impressive, man. It's impressive.
I think the Bradham thing got taken out of context. So like what he was trying to say is that like he came to it's different coming to a place that's already built. When he went to the Eagles, he was helping build it. It was brick by brick. So like, basically it would have been like coming to the Saints.
Junior Galette era.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but they were already like they had the 2009, so like it would have been coming in 2006 or whatever, and like being part of that build up of like the thing. You know what I mean? So like
drop, yeah.
So I think
I got you.
Fired up over nothing. Yeah.
Hey man, let's watch. Hey, to all the reporters out there, man, watch how y'all report what these guys are saying, man.
Well, I mean, that's how he said it, but like yeah. But the way he said it was like. But you like I knew what he like. It was clear.
You take the context. Yeah. Give us the context too, man. Don't put my man out there like that. Anyway, PJ Williams, go.
Look good.
I'm like, hey, we spoke about PJ earlier this offseason, and Coach AG was like glowing about him. I mean, like I'm like, man, you just signed this guy for like the minimum. He was talking about him like he was some type of, all pro or something like that. But yeah, it's interesting, man. I really want to see how, how this secondary thing, how they're going to play out with this secondary. And I think I've regressed to the point where I'm not making any assumptions right now. Just when I think about it and like who's going to be on the field, like I'm not sure how they're going to do this thing. So, and I think it's a good thing because it shows the strengths of that position. But, it sounds like they want PG on the field, and if he's on the field, then you can look at the depth chart and see maybe someone who won't be on there. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking all offseason about how they like him at safety, and he's out there playing safety then. So, I mean, that wasn't a surprise at all. We've been working that for quite a while. But, yeah, I mean, look, you look really good there. And I think just even the differences, like in the one-on-ones, like he had some issues, issues is a relative term, but, like, he got beat a few times, in actual coverage as a cornerback. And he's going to hold it down in zone, but one-on-one, outside.
Yeah, that's not his thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna work great. And speaking of this is an aside, but like speaking of the clips that go out there, like people need to hold back on what they're saying because they aren't seeing the whole play. Like there's a Benny Fowler play where like the quarterback was getting dragged for like overthrowing him, and like the way the play unfolded, the way the leverage of the cornerback was, he's supposed to run a corner route up the field. He broke it flat, and then the pass goes up the field. He breaks it flat, and like this is a great route. Like no, it wasn't. Like it was the wrong route.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And you don't see the quarterback. If you maybe would have seen the number 9 on the chest in the video, like you might have taken an extra second longer to evaluate who knows the playbook and who doesn't.
Right. It's not like a Jameis throw or something.
Right. And then the other thing, like you see PJ like getting beat on he was in coverage on the Traquan pass from Jameis. So, like the coverage was pretty good. But like in context, like if he's ever playing outside, like he's probably not one-on-one coverage 25, 30 yards down the field. There's going to be a safety there helping him.
Something went wrong if PJ's playing outside. With no safety help.
Right. Like, so the only guy, like some underneath stuff, like if it's going up the sidelines, the only guys you should really be doing like a hard evaluation on cornerback wise is probably Marshawn and to some extent Janoris. Like everybody else ain't going to be,
out there like that.
Yeah. Keith Washington's going to be playing to his help. Like, let's
yeah, he's going to protect the sidelines and let Marcus help him up the scene.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned like how sometimes these guys that, like people cover like these routes that we see, because I forget what it was. I was just scrolling through my timeline, whatever. And I saw this wide receiver run this route where he ran, he came back, he went in, he went out, and then he ran upfield. And like, look at this route. The cornerback couldn't keep up with him. I said it took like 6 seconds. Like,
right.
There's no route. They don't even have a number for that route in the NFL route tree. It doesn't exist. But like, these guys running these 6-second routes against air. Of course, you can't keep up with the guy, right? You know which way you're going and he don't. So I'm with you.
I'm not even like hating on anybody because I'd be doing the same thing if I wasn't out there and that was the only access I had to practice. I'm just saying like we need to like not come to these sweeping conclusions. Like these are like small pieces and like just be aware that like
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an average of
if a receiver on day one is getting overthrown up the sideline, it's probably the receiver.
Probably a receiver, especially when you know who's back there.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Yeah, I guess if you're assuming it's like Jameis, like maybe the quarterback made him, but like it's like Drew knows the option. Drew knows the option and how to play against the leverage and all that stuff. Yeah,
if you see it like happening in like week 3 of training camp with Mike Thomas and Drew Brees, then it's okay to panic a little bit, but not week 1 with Benny Fowler. Let's chill.
Oh, so back to PJ. Yeah, the difference is like you see some of the issues, in the coverage, but then the strengths of his game are in space, crashing down. And, when he can sit back there and read everything in front of him, he sees the field really well. He makes good breaks. And you see him do that in cornerback in his zone coverage.
Yeah, that's zone, exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, you get him back there in a 2 safety shell. There were some plays where he was single MOF too, but
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
The interception on Jameis, he saw the pass go to, the rookie receiver bounces off his hands, picks it off. Like, it's a solid play. He gets himself in the right position. Yeah. The fumble, crashed down. Nobody needs to, talk about PJ's hitting ability, tackling, really good.
physicality,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a little late,
Absolutely.
in the
Sean gave
play,
it to him.
but
We'll let him have it.
yeah, they
we'll
let
him
him.
have it.
Sean gave it to him after the
Yeah,
practice. I wasn't
Sean
sure.
says, we're gonna let Sean have it. He can final call, man.
So yeah, I mean, look, he looked really good, and like we said, I don't know, maybe the second, third podcast back, like what he did filling in a deep safety,
big time.
He's got some fans who think he can
In the
do
building,
it for real.
yeah.
He can do it for
Yeah.
real. Yeah. So
yeah, and that's shown by where they're playing him.
right.
Last year I don't remember any training camp reports talking about PJ Williams at safety. So, and look, not saying anything, but Marcus Williams is a free agent after this year. So, you can't keep everybody sometimes. So, maybe you got an in-house solution if that's the case. So they see him as more of a if he's in the middle of the field by himself, they see him as a free more than a. He's probably he's the ultimate interchangeable safety though.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about it, like he's just. Yeah, they're like the kid from I always forget his name, one of the best in the NFL from Tennessee. But just guys like that. Harrison Smith was like that, just guys who can play. And I'm not saying he's on their level, but just guys who can play box safety or free. So, all right, so let's tackle this Pete thing. He's hurt. He had a thumb injury. I think it was his thumb. He should be out a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. I think is reported. It sucks for him, man. It sucks for him. It seems like he came into camp. He was in shape, really in shape, and coming off a nice payday. Obviously, and the expectations for him were and still are pretty high. But I definitely think it's a setback. He's someone that we would have liked to see in camp healthy, and what kind of player is he going to be going forward. But what do you think this means for him in the short term, and and hopefully he can maybe be out there sooner than later.
Yeah, anybody, like if you're watching this and you saw me like just smirk, it wasn't anything about Pete being in shape or anything like that. I just started smirking because like it was just hilarious to me today that like Jay Glazer, like he hasn't reported anything in such a long time, and he just came out of nowhere, like to be like. There was the report earlier, like it was like like Ian's report wasn't even like bad or wrong or anything like that. He just said like, look, if he has to get surgery, it could linger into the season. It wasn't like it is going to linger into the season. It was like it could be
a possibility. Yeah, right.
And then like Glaze just comes out of like nowhere. He's like, it's a 2 to 3 week injury, and it's just like somebody was pissed about whatever. Like,
that was a hit job a little bit. Like call it what it is.
Yeah, like we're inside, like way inside, industry stuff here, but like
right. Yeah.
I don't know, like for some, like it just hit me right now, like how absurd like that was that it played out. Like, look, like Glazer don't get out like to report unless it's like a massive bomb anymore. Like he's just not out there like that.
Now he's talking about Andrews Pete's thumb.
Like, what just happened? Like where have you been?
Half the people in the NFL don't know who this guy is, and they're like, fans at least, and they're like, oh, who's I think we knew what was going on there. I mean,
so I guess we're going with the hard 2 to 3 weeks.
I'm on Glazer coming after my neck, so I'm not saying nothing. 14 days it is, man. Chill out, bro. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, look, it does. Just I was eager to see him because this guy, his whole career has struggled with the conditioning test, and he's like legitimately in shape, and that was like one of the things that I was most intrigued about seeing. I think, you pointed out the last time that like him showing up in shape after getting paid is like such a big deal too, just about the mentality and all that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it's a disappointing thing. I think that side of the line's okay, but like if there is a different center, there's probably some chemistry stuff there. So it's going to set things back a little bit. The Nick Easton's fine. Like you can get by with Nick Easton if you got to play with him. I think
it's an insurance policy, but hey, I guess it's working out now.
Yeah, like you don't ever want to pay for it until like you need it, but
like no one wants life insurance,
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they can get by with them. They'd be okay with them for a couple games. It's just I think Pete being at that level takes it all to a much different level. Same with the line. One of the things that I thought was really weird is, and I'm probably reading way too much into it. Did you listen to Peyton talk after the practice?
Yes, I listened to his interview. Yeah, on the website, I did.
Yeah, so I thought it was weird how he was asked about Ruiz and McCoy. McCoy was at center the first practice, and he's like,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
rotate him in there every few days. Like
That
it
was a
wasn't
little
like
weird.
like we'll see tomorrow. Like it might be every other day. And
Yeah,
it might have just been, me catching him in the way he spoke or whatever. But the way he said it, I was just kind of
yeah.
like, why isn't this every other like? And the other thing that was weird to me, like,
Why
if
not start Ruiz there at the?
right.
Yeah, we think alike. There we go. My bad. I took your point. I don't
No,
care.
no, man. Like you think you
But
would set a
yeah, it's
baseline.
like
Yeah.
get a base. Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. I was just like, why don't you just see what the dude is and what to build off of? I mean, look, I'm not gonna pretend I know more O-line, but it did catch me off guard. I was like, okay, what's the reasoning for this, right? Are you just trying to get the offense run and you got a guy who has played the position and you can get the reps and not have to worry about, maybe some of the growing pains early? I don't know. I was trying to figure out the angle for not having Ruiz at center first.
If you're without your guard on that side, I'm just thinking this right now. This is the very first time this thought has entered my mind. So I don't know, and I'm gonna
You
have to
guys
ask
about to
people
get the
about this.
text version of Underhill now.
Yeah, like at the very first time, like if you're out there, you're losing this guard. Is it easier chemistry wise to split these two guys that don't play a whole lot on the line, or kind of like Eason isn't a newcomer, but he's not a regular out there? Is it easier for the rookie to play alongside an all-pro tackle and a really good center as opposed to being new at center next to a guy that's not quite as talented, can't maybe help you settle in as much, doesn't have as much chemistry with the whole line? So
that's a reason. That's a reason. Yeah, I'd say that's probably a good reason. I would append to that reason also, maybe initially he just needs to work on, some of the ways that those guys get off the line, the cadence, and learning how those guys just kind of work. And once he gets some baseline level of understanding and a certain amount of chemistry and just get used to some of the guys on the line, then maybe you can move him over to center because he has a foundation that he can work off of. But I think your point makes sense because you got guys on both sides of you who basically can kind of tell you what to do and when to do it, right? And with Nick Eason over there is, he wasn't active half the games last season,
right.
so he's not someone that's going to be able to, give him a lot of feedback, maybe. But I think that's a good point. Now I'm trying to think of the reason why not. I'm not trying to think of the alternative. But yeah, I can be sold that I'll buy. Yeah.
All right, next topic. I don't know. We'll see
Yeah,
what happens.
maybe.
We just got to see who's out there like every time now. But yeah, I mean, as wild as it seemed, that if he doesn't really get a shot, if it is you're going to try him every third day or whatever, like that seems like a plausible. That seems like something we got to find out.
A reason,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you are definitely thinking of him as a guard, not a center.
Yeah.
If it comes to that. All right, I'm with it. All right, let me see. Blake Gillikin. Apparently this guy got a mega foot on him. You reported on him, some of the hang time that he was putting on his punt. So you got that in front of you. Run with it.
Yeah. So really, that was the weirdest guy that stayed on the team, right? When they cut down to 80, I think it was just like roster spots are at a premium, and you're keeping a second punter for
cornerback, quarterback, running back, punter. What?
Right. Yeah. Well, why do you need two punters? And
yeah.
It makes more sense. I don't see any scenario really yet at this point where you could be like, oh, like Thomas Morstead's like in trouble. Like I think
2009 is when they draft. 2000. Yeah, he's on the Super Bowl. Yeah, he's been there for a minute. I'm just thinking through it, but go ahead.
Yeah, he's so much more than just like a special. Like he's a team leader. He's trusted. He's still the best, probably one of the best at what he does. So I don't
face of the team, face of the city. Yeah,
I don't see a scenario where he's like in danger. But this other dude can really punt. Like he can really, really punt. Like he's not a chump. Like he's not here just like he's here for a reason. You see him go out there and do the job, and you're like, oh, okay. Like
that's why he's on the roster.
Yeah. And then like the other thing is too, and I was told this by somebody that was laying out a possible scenario for why we would have another punter here at this point. You know, in a coronavirus season, like something could happen, your punter goes down. You need to be able to trust your punter. If you have a guy that can do that, you keep him on the practice squad. You know,
and kick.
Like, yes, he can kick as well. So
yeah,
and I was told we haven't seen it, but I was told he can kick at an NFL level. So yeah, I mean, you get a 2-for-1 there. So
that's a paid move though, man. 2-for-1, like that's his wheelhouse.
Yeah. So I don't see Thomas in trouble. Like, you know, it's just this dude can really punt. Like, so like they were, you know, going through, you know, different scenarios or whatever, and it was like you know, pin it in the red zone situation, and like
location. Now we're locating the ball at a certain point.
Yeah. So like I wrote on the site, it was 4.7 seconds of hang time. Like, so I don't have a replay, and I'm doing things live with the stopwatch. And some of the times on my stopwatch were so outlandish that I did not put them in the article. I just like above 4.7.
You got to just like subtract like the plus minus margin of error from it and take the bottom.
2 of these punts hung long enough for guys to run down the field and catch them out of the air at like the 2-yard line. So, I mean, like he was doing some stuff out there, man. Like it wasn't just like, like, so, I mean, he was doing some stuff out there.
That's a pretty wild, like.
Morset can do that stuff too. But yeah, I mean, like, look, you got a UDFA punter that's like, you know, and again, it's day one, but
like just run up there, just ball doesn't touch the.
He's legitimately good enough that, like, you know, have an NFL job somewhere. Like, I don't think it's here. Like, Will Lutz was good enough to have an NFL job somewhere.
That's what I was thinking. Like, what did the Saints give for Lutz? Do you remember what the pick was? I don't remember. They got him from Baltimore, I think it was. But hey, if they see a scenario where, hey, you know, I mean, it sucks no preseason games, right? Because that's if you was trying to get something for that guy, that would be the avenue for it. But
is there any value like in a late round pick, even though like next year, like with the way college football is going? This is like a wild, like it's a wild. But like, is there any value in draft pick? Like the value of a draft pick is like really, really.
Yeah, I think someone I read it somewhere, like when Seattle traded for Jamal Adams. But that ridiculous compensation, the thought process was, well, look, you know, next year we don't know, you know, we're going to be evaluating guys who we don't have as good as idea of, you know, and so let's just get something that we know, and we'll feel better about that, and we'll deal with the rest later. So, which I understand that makes a little sense. Compensation was still a little crazy, but to your point about the draft picks, I can definitely see maybe that being the case. I know the Saints, like they're, you know. They need all the picks they can get. I mean, they use a 7th this year to get Tommy Stevens. So,
like imagine last year. It's like you have this like punter, you bring in, you trade him, you get a 7th. Pandemic hits, you don't know what's going on. Come up on the clock. You hear from the local college that, you know, the quarterback they have up there like works really hard in practices and is smart. Use the pick you got for a punter and draft Joe Burrow, and he becomes, you know what I'm saying? Like without that season though, like, you know what I mean? Like that's where he would have been picked without the last season. Like it's just like the craziest thing ever.
He said it. He was like, "Yo, I'm not Joe Burrow without this last season." Like he was straight up like honest about it. So that's crazy. I would say crazier things have happened, but I don't think crazier things have happened.
I don't like they're 100% is not another one of those. Like there was a Tom Brady, and then
I'm gonna say like every 2 decades something crazy like that may happen. Yeah. You just don't. I mean, I'm just trying to think like the UDFAs that even. I think Chris Harris was a UDFA. He was a good player, but yeah, that just doesn't happen, man.
Yeah, not a quarterback.
Definitely not a quarterback. I think quarterbacks are scrutinized way too much right now. I think just to go undrafted, I mean, I don't know, man. Then you got Taysom sitting around here like waiting to be great. So, you know, I don't know.
That's different though. That's different. That ain't like Taysom's great because not as a pocket passer. Like Taysom's great because we don't even know if Taysom's great. Like let's clarify that. But like Taysom's
quarterback great, but other stuff, he's amazing.
Yeah, Taysom might potentially be really good because like there was a coach that's a maniac like with his visions and he saw it and he might bring something out of him. But it wasn't because like somebody looked at the tape and was like, this dude Yeah, like
that's
he's a
draft
pocket
him.
passer. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's real. That's real. That's real. That's real.
Like the Saints didn't even have like a draftable. Like they didn't. Like they were like, "Who is this guy?" When they seen him, like they didn't even have like
Just looking at the other McCaffrey, as they call him, right?
Yeah.
We had to get this guy name. All right. Well, we'll keep our eye on Partner Blake, and that's interesting, man. We'll see how that is. Zach Bond, it seemed like I read that they're just kind of throwing him in there. With the I think he had some snaps with the ones and just kind of seeing where he's going to land. I think he's okay. Wow. So and he's competing at strong side linebacker right now, right?
Yeah. So look, I'm going to preface like all the conversations we have going forward. Like we really aren't supposed to say what group people are playing with, but like when other people say where they're playing, like if a player says like Zach Bond's playing with the starters, which Cam Jordan did, like it's fair game.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, there's like weird restrictive reporting rules for this year that were laid down by the NFL. It isn't a Saints thing, like it's an NFL thing. I don't know, man. Like, yeah. So,
COVID, man.
Yeah. So whatever. Like, so yeah, like they said he's playing with the starters. So yes, it's so stupid though, man. Like there's pictures out there. Like someone could just scan through the
It's easy to just tell. Wear masks, people.
I don't even know, like the whole thing is stupid.
Yeah, that's just weird, man. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that.
Yeah. I mean, like basically I'm going to talk about stuff like if something's like wildly, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know whether like, if we to the point where we got to sleep clarity, like I don't really see where that's going to come up with this team, thankfully, because I think everything's so set.
That's a good point. Yeah. It's not like you're going to be getting a letter from the front office talking about, you mixed up the second and third string quarterback.
Yeah.
They got bigger problems than to be worrying about that. But yeah, no, I get it. That's we'll follow the rules here, people. I know y'all listening. But yeah, he's someone I'm interested in. I think that, he had a pressure. Don't really know how much that means, if it means anything at all. But we'll see with him.
He looked good. He's pretty comfortable in space. He moves decently. There was a couple plays where, he kind of got caught sleeping on a couple things. There was like a underneath, like he was dropping back and just didn't recognize his underneath coverage on one play.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are the things that are going to happen with the guy that's moving off the edge and playing off ball. It's just kind of like, hey. And they're going to have to, make sure that his awareness is there and that he's making the plays he needs to make and all that stuff. There's a play to the flat past to Ty Montgomery. Montgomery beat him to the corner and turn. But, like, look, that's a really fast dude, like, out there. And to me, like, I was watching Bond. The fact that he saw it and reacted in a reasonable amount of time, that was a positive thing to it. So, that was a decent play, recognition wise for that. It's going to be going through the process with them. The other rookies, who else? We already talked about
Trotman. There was Cook had some interesting comments about Trotman in his presser.
Cook got multiple moments where I'm like, what is going on here?
The Jameis Winston moment was like,
I stayed away from that one because I had no idea what he was alluding to.
Me neither.
It just did not feel right to go there to me.
He said it like, I'll let someone else tell y'all. And I'm like, man, all right, man, whatever.
Yeah, like I'm moving by this. Like I don't know what's going on here. Yeah. So what did he say about Troutman that caught you?
Troutman, yeah, he said that he's been running with the ones. He said that the scheme that
Jared Cook did say that Adam Troutman is running with the ones.
Jared Cook, explicitly said that Adam Troutman is running with the ones. The player from the Saints who plays tight end, who wears number 87.
Yes.
Last name is Cook and first name is Jared. Said that, not Nick Underhill.
Right.
But yeah, he said he's running with the ones. He said that he's making a really easy transition, like from college. And he said that offense that he ran in college is the same he's running now, and that he's making, like I said, he's making an easy transition. He said he's been able to have some contributions really early in camp. So, listen, that was before the first practice, and I just thought it was interesting that he said that he's contributing before camp, and it's been easy for him because it was a similar system in college. So tight end is one of those positions that, it's probably, after quarterback, is probably one of the position that has the most responsibility, I would say. because you can be an inline blocker, you can not be a non-inline blocker, you can be a receiver. I mean, it's just so many different things you can do: run game, pass game. So to talk about him, for him talk about him like that, and the fact that he's contributing early, I think doesn't mean a lot, but it means something. It's a good start, it seems.
Yeah, we saw 6 snaps of him, like
Mm-hmm.
in a team drill. So when they were doing the wide receiver, so the way we're positioned, like we get like a horseshoe. There's 2 fields.
Mm-hmm.
You get like a horseshoe. You can go up to about the 40-yard line on both sides, and then behind both end zones. So the one-on-ones were happening coming at us.
Okay.
And then there's like a line of players waiting to take their turn, and then behind that line of players on the other side, there's a run drill going on. So like it was kind of hard to see. So when that was going on, the tight ends were down there blocking in the run drill. I can't see what
It's
Adam
hard to
Troutman was
get a
doing down there.
visual.
Yeah. So like we got this line of people, then there's the defense, and then there's the offense. Like the people waiting to play defense, the defense, then the offensive line, and then the tight end. Like so, it was really hard to see. You couldn't see it. So
yeah, to the people listening, Nick is using his hand gestures and he's moving. You guys got to go to YouTube and look at the video to see. Like he's literally like he's drawing out the entire horseshoe field. So you got to check out the YouTube.
So yeah, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. So it's really hard to see down on that end. There was just too much going on. So you focus on what you can see.
Yep.
So yeah, then there were 6 plays in the team drill with Breeze at quarterback. Since as Jared Cook said, Adam Troutman was running with the ones, and 3 pressures, those plays they're gone. So there's 3 plays. One of those 3 plays, Troutman jumped before the snap, so that wasn't good. And then just nothing happened after that. Yeah. So I mean, there's nothing there to about. Like it's an empty. Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes from there. But look, he moved well. Like when they were doing their warm ups and positional drills.
Yeah,
he moves well. Like
you can tell that he's somewhat athletic. Yeah. Yep. Well, that's the rookie who I kind of like. I'm watching the most. It's weird, man. This team, the rookies seem like the 5th most important thing on this team right now. It's just like it's wild.
Bond in that role surprised me. That was probably the most surprising thing of the day because I just didn't expect. I expected to see Bradham out there, like or something. Yeah, I just did not expect to see Zach Bond as the starter in in the base defense.
Well, I mean, look, we can rewind back to draft time, and you had the article written before. Somehow you guessed some magic way you knew that he was going to be a pick. But yeah, they were after him and they loved his tape, his college tape, and they aggressively pursued him. So I guess maybe that was all for a reason. So we'll find that out soon enough. That's it, man. That's it. Training camp is here. Live practices, live pads, practice reports. NewOrleans.Football /subscribe. Link in the show notes. Practice reports coming after every practice from Nick Underhill. Podcasts, probably some extra pods. If they don't happen, then blame Nick. Probably gonna take some flack for that, but yeah, listen. Football is here. We're excited, you guys. There's only one place that you can get your best Saints content. Like that's NewOrleans.Football. Link in the show notes, as we always say. Make sure you guys go to YouTube. You can search Nick Underhill and subscribe. Watch these pods. Share them with your friends. My mom, she always tells me to send her the video of her baby doing a podcast. So I'm trying to run some traffic through there. So if you guys can do the same, we appreciate it. With that said, you guys stay safe, wear a mask. We will see you next week, or maybe not. Sooner than that. We out.